Sandy Peckinpah, and today I'm doing a Facebook Live instead of a Periscope because I'm finding that the audience is much bigger on Facebook Live, plus it's filled with all my friends. So what better opportunity to hang out with friends? So anyway, I am joining you because, as you know, I'm a writer. I'm a lot of things, but I'm a writer, and I absolutely, passionately love writing about what I've learned through sometimes a really tough life, and sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it's an extraordinary life. Hey Liz, I'm so glad you're here. I was just saying that I'm broadcasting today from Facebook Live instead of Periscope because I wanted to hang out with my friends. So here I am. Welcome. Jill, so glad you're here. I hope you're doing well, honey. I know you've had some really tough stuff going on. And so I'm hanging out with you on Facebook because I want to share the contents of an article that I wrote, and I did post it on my Facebook wall, and it was just published by Huffington Post yesterday, so I'm absolutely thrilled. Mary, boy, I haven't seen you in a long time. Arlene, welcome. Jen, welcome. Wow. Jane, so glad you're here. Jane, you're usually on my broadcasts on Periscope, and so glad that you figured this out. Today I'm going to do it from Facebook. And as I was saying, it's because I want to hang out with all my friends and see where this goes. So we're going to be talking today about how you don't want to let stress steal your joy. Cynthia, so glad you're here. Welcome. So I've been broadcasting for a long time on Periscope, probably over 350 broadcasts. Yes, 350 broadcasts of coming up with new material for every single one of them. It's crazy. But what I did was I took all of my life, all of what I've learned, not just from personal experience, but I'm a voracious reader and researcher, and I've put it all into articles. And these articles lately are getting a lot of attention. Hey Wayne, glad to see you. And Deanna, welcome. So these articles lately have been published in Huffington Post and also on Thrive Global, which is an extension of Huffington Post. Ariana Huffington created another platform called Thrive Global, and it's all about well-being. And recently they published an article of mine called Don't Let Stress Steal Your Joy. And then it ended up getting published, and now is published on Huffington Post as well. And if you haven't seen that article, it is on my Facebook wall. I've shared it. Please go there because I really think that you might have an opportunity to learn something from it, because I certainly did in the process of writing it. Kanisha, welcome. So here I am. Let's talk about how not to let stress steal your joy. And why is this important? Because guess what? People think stress is a way of life. People think it's totally acceptable. When you ask them, how are you doing? You say, oh, I've had a lot of stress lately, or I'm stressed, or it's a stressful time. And so, hey Bobby, so glad you're here. So what I discovered about that is that it's almost becoming like acceptable and a code of honor, a cloak of honor, because all of a sudden stress becomes something that's acceptable and says maybe you're working harder, or maybe it's an excuse for why something didn't happen, or that it's a way of saying, well, I'm doing better in life because I'm so stressed, because I've got a lot on my plate, and so a lot is happening in my life. Well, stress actually is defined in the dictionary as a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. For example, he's obviously under a lot of stress. Hey, Chuck. Welcome, and Blake, too. Got a lot of great people. I'm broadcasting here instead of Periscope today because I decided to hang out with all my friends. On Periscope, you never know who you're going to get. But on this broadcast, I get to hang out with friends. So I'm talking about, for those of you who just joined me, I'm talking about an article that I wrote that just got published in Huffington Post yesterday called "Don't Let Stress Steal Your Joy." No, no, no. So stress is actually a state of mind, and it's become a noun and a verb that defines our days. And you say the word stress, and what picture do you get in your head? I mean, just think about it. You see pressure, you feel tension. Jill, my old friend Jill, welcome. Pressure, tension, worry, trouble, anxiety. There's a huge amount of anxiety connected to stress. And these are all words that we're allowing to shape our everyday lives, right? Pete is here, yay! And Donna and Denise, wow, all my friends are here, I love it. Okay, so we're talking about stress for those of you who just joined me. And I'm doing a Facebook Live today instead of Periscope because I'm here. So, these are all words that shape our daily lives. And this is also from an article, for those of you who just joined me. This is from an article that I wrote that got published in Huffington Post yesterday. I'm really proud of it because it was first published on Thrive Global and then Huffington Post picked it up yesterday. So stress can be a really positive thing in your life. Guess what? When it's handled correctly, and that is when it's handled as a guide to look at it in a way of things that need to be resolved and maybe things that can challenge you to discover new ways to manage your life, then stress can be a guide. It can be sort of exciting in that it leads you into the next phase of life. And it is like it opens up the vision of what needs to be corrected in order to get on to the next act of your lives. So left unresolved though, stress can be damaging in your health, your heart. It can cause depression. It can cause distress. It can cause overeating. It can cause undereating. It can interrupt sleep. Thank you for the like. It can cause fights in your relationship. It can stop your ability to be creative and functional and effective in the workplace. Stress is a symptom of living a reactive life. What do I mean by that? It means that you're letting life happen to you and you just keep piling it on. But if you start to look at stress as a guide to living a proactive life, it shifts the amount of damage that stress is doing to you because you recognize what needs to happen. And shifting this way of living is the quickest way to better success in your personal and professional lives and your spiritual life. If you make stress temporary, it changes the peace, the amount of peace that you have in your life. Hey, see, whether this is a guide or something else. Whoops, I can't read it. I'm sorry, Pete. Darn, I'm going to go back and read every comment. Thank you. And because I don't have my glasses on, and they're not even close. But yes, stress can guide you to coping strategies to alleviate stress. Yes, and it does. Stress can attack your energy. And if you put your energy consumption into something else, that's so true, into something else as a guide out of stress and into living a proactive life, it changes things. And so in this article that I wrote for Huffington Post, I had 10 effective strategies for dealing with stress. And the number one strategy is to focus on the minutes, not the hours. So if you look at stress and you give it a beginning and an end date, or a plan for solving that part of the stress, you consider the fact that a stressful time does have an end date. It gives you something to have a vision for, so you get to look at it as solvable, a way of not being there forever. It forces you to take action to correct whatever it is that is stressful. And so then, number 2 is you get to focus on the very next thing. Oh, thank you for the heart. Woohoo! So number 2 is that if you focus on the very next thing that you have to do to solve it, and not do the whole picture, because the whole picture is stressful. But if you just think of the very next thing that you need to do to solve it, then that just says, okay, I can handle the next step. You know, the next step may be writing a to-do list or having someone assigned to the task that overwhelmed you. And, you know, for me, like I was just sharing yesterday, I had a speaking engagement in front of a women's network group, and there were about 35 women. I loved being able to speak with them. And I share my story, and I also share my lows and my highs and my triumphs and my failures. And I know my story really well, but I knew that, obviously, it happened to me, but I knew that I wanted to write out the speech, an outline of the speech. Now, I knew that I was going to do this for 4 months. Did I write it 4 months ago? No. Did I write it 3 months ago? No. Did I write it 1 month before the speaking engagement? No. Did I write it 2 weeks? No. I wrote the outline 4 days before I was supposed to speak, and yet I knew all along. Hey, Carrie, welcome. It's so important. Yes, it is so important to share things like this with, you know, your kids, your students. People are growing up with a huge amount of stress, a huge amount of stress. My kids often call me and say, Mom, I don't know what to do. I'm feeling so stressed. And, you know, we deconstruct it. And what I'm sharing with you is deconstructing stress in the way that I've learned, but also what I researched. I can't take all of this as my own. I love reading. I love researching other people's work. I love learning how other people cope. And so this is a compilation. I'm not such, you know, a miracle worker that I know all the answers. This is from a compilation of things that I've learned from other people too. So if you focus on the very next thing and not be overwhelmed by the whole picture, just take the very next step. And so for me, as I got more stressed and more stressed for the speaking engagement, I knew 4 months before I was going to do it. Did I figure it out? No. 4 days before is when I started the outline. And I actually finished it the night before. I don't want to do that to myself anymore. I mean, it turned out okay, but I don't want to do that to myself anymore, because I feel like I caused a lot of stress unnecessarily for something that is really truly joyful for me. I love speaking engagements. I love speaking. I love sharing my story. I love sharing all of this. But it's very stressful when I wait till the last minute. So number 2 is focus on just the next thing you can do to solve it. What it was for me was just sitting in the chair and writing it. Number 3 in my list of effective strategies: monitor and stop negative self-talk. Now, what is that? That's that little voice inside your head that says, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you'll never finish that outline. Oh my gosh, are you going to remember everything you wanted to say in that speech? Are you going to do well in that test? Did you write that contract? I have literally gotten up in the middle of the night to make sure that I included something in a real estate contract. That's unnecessary stress. That's that little voice that won't stop. Don't ruminate on negative thoughts. Those nighttime conversations, my God, are they true? You know, you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, do I have enough money to do what I need to do? And then I find I'm changing bank accounts in the middle of the night and thinking, oh, but if I pay this bill and then not this bill, maybe I'll be okay. That's all such negative talk that interrupts your well-being. It interrupts your peace. Give it a time. And like I said in number 1, give it a beginning and an end date. Like in the middle of the night, I actually get up and I fix myself a cup of tea, and I'll write myself a note and say, solve this problem in the morning, or I'll say it out loud. This problem will be solved at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then it's done. Send that negative chatter away. That's a little voice inside of your head, and you have to really ask, is it true? Is what that voice telling me true? No. A lot of times it's not true. And you can always schedule a time to address that negative voice in your head and then dismiss it. You're no longer in active duty. Get rid of it. Yeah, I'm an admiral's daughter. I do military terms. In fact, I just saw the admiral today. He might be tuning in on this broadcast at some point. My wonderful father, my 90-year-old father, is an admiral, retired admiral, and we grew up in a military family, and boy, we knew all those military terms. So dismiss that negative chatter from active duty, and it will relieve your stress. Number 4, refocus on the positive. Think about the one thing in your day that was good. If you want to go even further, learn something from one of my coaches, Bob Donnell. He said, list everything in my life that I feel truly good about. Things that I did in my life that I'm really proud of. And whenever I start to feel negative, I go to that list and I look at it and read it and say, wow, I guess I am okay. Number 5, and this is all from my article that I wrote that's on Huffington Post right now, called Don't Let Stress Steal Your Joy. And it's on my wall for anybody who wants to read the article. And you know what? I'll also put it in the comments. I'll put it in the comments below, the link to that article, and you can read all of these steps that I'm giving you. Hey, Kurta. Oh, and Rachel, too. Kurta, I am so darn proud of you. She wrote a screenplay. It got an award, and now she's making that film. I am so proud of you. Congratulations. And I looked at the cast, and wow, stellar, stellar, stellar. I'm so excited for you. See, she went after her dream, and she did it. How about that? Number 5, and you know my friend Pete Onorati, he's on here. He's a fantastic actor. If you need him, he was just in This Is Us. He starred in that, and he's done, oh my gosh, he has a body of work that is amazing. Number 5. Don't use should have and what if statements. That just leads to regret. Don't spend time on missed opportunities. Guess what? They can't be fixed. You can cause a tremendous amount of stress with having regret. It will take you to an emotional state of mind that you don't want. So stop overthinking everything and just stop using, oh, I should have. Oh, what if this hadn't happened? There's no way to fix that. It torments you. Number 6, reach out to supportive people. This is like the best thing that you can do, because ask for help. Don't be afraid. Everybody has to ask for help sometimes. And I can tell you the hardest thing in the world for me was asking for help after my daughter was born and after my son died, because I thought I should be able to handle this on my own. Other people have done it. I'm going to figure this out. And yet, all I had to do was say to my friends, help. I don't know how to fix this one. I don't know how to do this one. And so they circled around me. Hey, Judy, you found me. I didn't even have a chance to say, guess what? I'm not going to be on Periscope today. I'm going to be on Facebook Live. Debbie, yay! Oh, dear old friend. If you are just joining this broadcast, I usually do Periscope broadcasts, and I'm not on there today because I wanted to hang out with friends. So here I am. I like Periscope, but there are so many people that I'm not connected with, and I feel like this has a stronger connection I mean, I have a beautiful handful of friends, and Judy, God bless you. You are one of them. You are a huge, strong supporter, and I so appreciate you. And I'm going to do both. Anyway, reach out to supportive people. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need help. My circle of friends helped me so much when my son died and when my husband died, and just, they picked up the pieces. And I have the best friends in the world. I know that. I am so blessed. Make use of them. You know what? You're denying them the pleasure of helping you when you don't let them help. And just think how good you feel when you're able to help somebody. Well, that's how they feel when they help you. And let them help you with stress. Stress and upset comes from a feeling of being out of control. And sometimes making things more important than they are. Enlist a friend, and I guarantee you're going to start feeling better. Number 7, reduce decision fatigue. Mark Zuckerberg reduces stress by not making too many decisions in a day. Now, my goodness, we know that he has a full plate, but he says that one less stressful thing that he has to do is figuring out his clothing. So he wears the same thing every day. I mean, not the same exact thing, but he buys 7 pairs of pants in the same color and 10 shirts in the same color. And he says that reduces the decision that I have to make in the morning. Well, as a woman, I love playing dress up, so that doesn't work for me. But what does work for me is I reduce decision fatigue by planning it the night before. And so I'll pull things out of my closet, I'll hang it on a hook in my closet so it's ready to go, even my jewelry. So it's ready to go. And then I have these things that are my go-to things, like there is one necklace that I wear practically every day because it's like my signature piece, and I always feel good in it. So I set that out. I never have to figure that out. And sometimes I change it up. But that reduces decision fatigue. Another thing is I set my vitamins out in the morning, the night before, and I put it in a little, I borrowed this from my friend Melissa. I saw her using those beautiful little liqueur glasses for her vitamins, and I thought, that's clever. Makes it seem like an event, so that's what I do. Another thing is getting your coffee ready so that all you have to do is push the button in the morning. You're not flying out the door. All these things help reduce stress, and that reduces decision fatigue. Number 8, avoid the morning and nightly news. If you must read the news, which is important to keep up with stuff, make sure it's not first thing in the morning or the last thing at night, because that turns on what's going on in your head and you feel chaos. And if it's upsetting news, it's even more upsetting, and then you end up having bad dreams and stress. Tony Robbins says he avoids the news first thing in the morning and last thing at night. It just works better for him. Number 9, put things on automatic that can be on automatic, like bill paying, like ordering certain things. I mean, I know that every 6 weeks I need this certain face cream, so I have it on auto order. And that makes it easy. I don't even have to worry that it's not going to be there. And so if you do that, hey, that's a good one, isn't it? Thank you for the hearts. So it's like bill paying is the best thing in the world, auto bill pay. I have all my utilities on auto pay. I have all my credit cards on auto pay, and my mortgage and all that, so that I don't have to think about it. And so in the beginning of the month, the only ones that I really have to do if I don't have a credit card on full, pay the full balance, then I can go in and just check and see what I need to pay. Makes it so simple. Number 10, and this is the last one, and this is based on an article that was just published in Huffington Post, my article called Don't Let Stress Steal Your Joy. And so if you have a chance to read it, I'll put it in the comments of this video and you can go and read it. It's in depth. This is just, like tip of the iceberg here that I'm telling you. Victoria, my beautiful friend, how are you? Number 10, we're on the last one, so you can go back and replay it if you want. Have a morning ritual. People that are successful all say they have a morning ritual. Steve Jobs did, Oprah has one, Lady Gaga has one, Tony Robbins has one. People have morning rituals and they say it's the key to their success. And I started doing this in 2009. I changed my whole ritual up. I stopped the morning news, which was what I used to do, because I used to just turn on the morning news. Now what I do, and this is like the most glorious way to wake up. I wake up, I push the button that says coffee, and I make my coffee. Then I crawl back into bed, and I have my motivational reading time. And you may have your own motivational books, but I have the ones that I really love. Yes, a morning ritual. And it is, thank you, Judy. And so I crawl back in bed and I read just for 5-10 minutes, something that motivates me. Thank you, Judy. 5 or 10 minutes. And it sets the tone of peace for my day. And then I spend an additional 2 or 3 minutes in what I call a vibrational download. It's like prayer, you just get quiet and you listen to your thoughts. And if bad thoughts are coming in, you just push them away and you start including the good thoughts. And it is so beautiful to download that spiritual peace. And then I spend a couple minutes writing. So the whole thing takes me no longer than 20 minutes, 30 minutes, really. And it is really the best thing I ever did for myself. It truly is. And I've been doing that since 2009, and now I can't live without it. It's true. So, Lady Gaga says she gives herself an hour of self-love every morning by giving herself a spiritual practice. It prepares you for an extraordinary life. Whatever you do every day is what you're going to become. So if you address your spiritual peace every day, every morning, you will find that stress will start peeling away and you'll figure out how to tap into that peace a little more easily. I promise you. Apply one of these stress-reducing rituals every day, one or more, and I promise you're going to notice a change. Hey, Eric, welcome. I'm going to leave you with one last quote. Steve Jobs said he asked himself every day, if this was the last day of my life, is what I'm about to do today good enough? If it isn't for too many days in a row, then he says you need to change your patterns. And so I love that thought, because I know that if I start my day out every morning with that morning ritual, that I've set the pattern for the day. Hey, Marilyn, thank you. You know what? For those of you who just joined me, I just went through 10 things. And thank you, Kurta. I'm going to go back and read all of these comments because I can't read all of them. Sometimes it's hard for me to read without my glasses, and glasses cause reflection in this, so I don't want that either. So anyway, thank you for including your thoughts on this. I'm going to read each and every one. I appreciate you. And yes, change your patterns. Change your patterns. Change your life, right? All right, thank you, my friends. I really loved hanging out with you today. You are awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.